Chapter 3. Arty had always been pretty, and she knew it. She had even been on a TV ad once for Pampers diapers. Over the years, she would discover how that had made her parents extremely proud. They would tell her she would become an actress when she grew up. But she had always been plump, and acting meant a strict discipline with diet and workout. She had joined several gyms since turning 15 years old. But after the first 3 days of sweating it out, she became erratic and soon gave up altogether. She even tried dance and water aerobics once, but as was her habit, she quit when the excitement wore off. Eventually, Arty realized what she wanted to do: travel. At first, she didn't know how. She thought of joining an air hostess academy, but she realized that it would be short-lived. Not many private airlines continued to hire women after a certain age. She needed to fly for the rest of her life. An opportunity came in college when she got recruited by a multinational firm as a sales trainee. She took a liking to her job, like fish to water. She had the clients wrapped around her finger with her gorgeous looks and sharp intellect. Best of all, she got to travel across India. It was also a way to expand her boyfriend circle. Arty had men following her since she hit her teenage years and started developing. With her pretty porcelain face and long brown hair, she had men swooning for her from school through college. They followed her about, and she basked in their attention. She never kept a man longer than a month, allowing everyone to have a chance to woo her. But there was one man who captured her attention. He was unavailable, though, as he was already in a relationship and ignored her. He was a challenge. She loved it and played all her games with him. And the simple act of their flirting changed the course of her life forever. "Arty," Amitabh said as he snapped his fingers in front of her face. "Come back to earth, darling." She smiled at her husband. Just thinking about what the girls were saying today." "Oh, what were they saying?" "Nothing special. Something about cooks. What were you saying to me?" Arty felt special that her husband actually took an interest in her life. He asked her about her day and was a wonderful father to their son. "I was saying that Mom has bought you a sari. She wanted to show it to you before she showed it to me. She was hesitant to ask you if you wanted to go for Chaya's wedding this weekend." Amitabh went back to reading his comic book. They were sitting in their large master bedroom while the son played in the hall outside with his grandparents. "Amit, can't you read anything else besides comic books? You're a grown man." She was honestly exasperated. He playfully shoved the cover of the comic to her face. "This just happens to be the first edition of When Batman Met Joker. It's a classic. Grown men should be reading this." She shook her head with a smile and got up from the bed. "And obviously, I will like what Mom has bought. And of course, I will go. For all that they've done for me, it's such a small thing to do." She went outside to find her mother-in-law, who was playing Monopoly with her son. "Mom, you didn't have to buy me a sari. You've already given me so many." She wrapped her mother-in-law in a hug. No, you need to wear something new. That is, if you want to come." "Sure." Arty sat next to her son and admired his features. For so long, Aryan had looked like her, and she did not have to worry about her terrible secret. Now he was beginning to take on his father's features, and it troubled Arty. Aryan didn't look like Amitabh at all. She smoothed down Aryan's hair and said, "Let Dadi go to sleep now, Aru. It's been a long day. Mama will play with you." Arty helped her mother-in-law up and walked with her to the adjacent house, where her father-in-law was already fast asleep. He was a military man, and his bedtime had always been 9 p.m., like clockwork. He woke up at 5 every morning, made his own cup of tea, and went for a 2-hour walk before the entire household woke up. Then post-dinner, at 8 o'clock sharp, he would sit and read a book, and then, at 9, go to sleep. Thankfully, they lived in a separate house, even though the servants were common and they shared a kitchen. With Arty rarely around, her in-laws looked after Aryan in either of the houses, and they gave enough space to their son and their daughter-in-law to call friends over or have some private time to themselves. It was quite an irony, though, Arty thought, because all her friends thought it was a perfect setup. But she and Amitabh didn't even want privacy. Sleeping next to a man who didn't want to touch her was the loneliest thing in the world. She went back to the drawing room where Aryan sat waiting for her. Mama, tell me a story. Not tonight, Aru. I'm so tired. And you can read yourself now. You're a big boy. I know, Mama, but you make up such good stories. Tell me one from your day yesterday. Chalo, let me tuck you in and I will tell you a story. Arty decided she shouldn't say no. She'd been working for so long that the only way to assuage her guilt was to tell stories to Aryan every night when she came home, or in the morning before he went to school. So he looked forward to her leaving instead of clinging to her. And he soon enjoyed the fact that his mother worked and could still tell him interesting stories. He would relate these stories to his peers and everyone enjoyed listening to him, making him feel quite the dude. It was late when Arty finished telling him about her travel to Delhi that week. Aryan had dozed off. She tucked him in, turned off the lights, and went to her room. She found Amitabh in bed, turned to his side. She decided he was asleep. Arty wondered if she should wake him up to have a conversation, but decided against it. It could wait until tomorrow. They had gone 7 years with a lie. What difference would one more night make? Arty turned off the lights and stared at the ceiling. She wondered, how could her life that seemed so perfect have gone so wrong?